Hi, this is William McKissock with Schooley Mitchell, your expense reduction specialist. And as you know, I say this every time, we like to promote and support other businesses on social media. And today I have with me Shelly Starks, who's with Inline Consulting Services. Welcome to the show, Shelly.
Thank you, William. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So before we talk about what you do as a business, obviously we can see Inline Consulting Services. We want to learn more about that, what you do. So if you can give the viewers a little bit of a background as to who Shelly is and how you ended up here today.
Sure. So first of all, William, it's been wonderful for us to be connected in the Tampa Bay area as networking connections for a very long time. I don't even know the number. So thank you for, staying connected. And I just think that you find your tribe after a certain time period, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So Inline Consulting Services, I have been a behavioral analysis coach for 20 years. And so I have launched this service back in September. This is my third consulting business, but I launched it back in September to help small and mid-sized businesses with communication breakdowns. And what I mean by that is, understanding a behavioral style and knowing how they problem solve, make decisions, interact. And maybe there's some things that are happening internally that are not necessarily huge conflicts, but you might be able to be more efficient as a team.
So Inline Consulting, I know you have several revenue drivers within the consulting business itself. What's the main revenue driver and what's the other services that you offer through connecting with Inline Consulting Services?
So my main business, my passion business is the communications coaching. And that is what I am, really, really getting my name out there for, and letting businesses know how I can help them on that side. As an entrepreneur, I, spoke to a lot of very professional, very successful business owners, and I was discovering that they all had one thing in common, and that was that they had multiple revenue streams and that they had converted some of those to passive income. And so I decided to do the same thing and try to find a way to do that. So I used my previous world, my last job world, and all of the centers of influences or the connections in my network that I had used then, and ended up creating other revenue streams. One of them is fractional SVP of sales for organizations if they are needing that. I've got a couple of insurance products that I have access to be able to sell. There are other, businesses that I partner with that they are able to do revenue shares with me. And so I just continue to add those as we go, because I really believe that if I can get the passive income going, then I can just work on the thing that really gets me up in the morning, which is the communication side.
Fantastic. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking behavioral communication within your team or your business or your operations, Shelly's the person to reach out to. Her information is underneath her portion of the video. Please reach out. Email, website, telephone number is all there. So Shelly, who's a typical client for you with your behavioral connecting services? Who would you say is a typical client?
So typically it's under 50 employees. I usually like to have a smaller group. I feel like I have a much more, a bigger impact, and they see more ROI whenever I can have a smaller group. But professional services are a good fit. So architects, engineers, attorneys, healthcare, anywhere where they don't have a super high turnover. So they would probably invest in their people. And if they have, disparaging groups within their organization is another really good factor here. So sometimes the sales and the marketing departments don't talk and don't speak the same language and have a hard time, right? I can come in and help them understand from an individual behavioral style, how do I approach that conversation where those defensive gates go down? They're not immediately defensive, and then we aren't as productive as a team. We can't fight each other internally and be productive.
That's a great example you gave there, the sales and the marketing team, because sometimes they don't know the difference. And most people don't know the difference between marketing and sales. That's a great example of getting them talking their own language to one another, but the same language internally within the company. So
Well, we're all meant to be rowing in the same direction, right? Like there's a vision and a goal, and there are things that we need to accomplish. And especially if businesses are trying to scale, if everybody's not rowing in the same direction, then you're just kind of staying in a circle. Like you're just going in a circle, right?
Yeah, the rowing analogies are great, like because the ship will just be going in circles, as you say. So you do this in person? Do you do it on Zoom as well? And where do you do it? Do you do it in Tampa Bay, Florida, USA? Where do you do this, and how do you do it?
Nationwide, it is. I mean, COVID was the best. I mean, if there's going to be an upside to COVID, it's that we all got used to using Zoom and being remote. I do most of my networking now on Zoom, which is amazing. I meet people all over the world that are incredible. And so for my services, as long as they're comfortable with it being a virtual setting, it can be virtually anywhere. I'll do it in person in the Tampa Bay area if they're here. And obviously I'll fly if I need to, if they prefer to do that in person in another area.
Fantastic. Again, Shelly's information is underneath her portion of the video, email, phone number, website. Go and check her out. One thing I want to share is these are short interviews, Shelly, so we're kind of going to come to a close now. But one thing I want you to share with the audience, you have a passion for something else that you're really good at. And what is that?
Are you speaking of singing?
Yes.
So, yeah, I have been a professional singer for many, many years. At one point in another lifetime was signed to Universal out of London as a label. And then I currently now do anthems for pro sports teams all over the country.
Fantastic. And I wanted the viewers to see that because it's kind of learning who Shelly is. And viewers, I know Shelly very well. We've become good friends as well as connecting business colleagues. And I highly recommend having Shelly in your life, not just as a professional, a singer, or a coach. I highly recommend that you reach out to Shelly if you need any of her services, and she can even sing for you as well.
Not usually the tagline I use, but yeah.
If your business has a stadium, she'll get out there and she'll sing the national anthem for you. Yeah. Well, Shelly, thank you very much. These interviews, we try and keep them nice and short for people to see. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it too, and happy to support your business as well. So I'll be posting this across all of the other social media platforms for me.
Thank you very much. I'll now hand it over to Dave for the weather.